I got plunged into my second tragedy, the hearing loss. Those cracks in my skull. I contracted bacterial meningitis. I was right back in the hospital. My mom and my girlfriend at the time, my wife now, nursed me back to health. I lost all of my hearing, everything that was left from the bottom blast. So I was totally deaf and totally blind. And even though I'd have an opportunity, a chance to regain some of my hearing through the cochlear implant, it would take months before I'd even be switched on. So for over 6 months, it was like I was trapped in my body. And totally silent, totally dark, my whole world ending at my fingertips. And I didn't mention this, but when you're totally blind, you also can't reset your internal clock, your circadian rhythm to sunlight. So I have this sleeping disorder. And with the loss of my hearing, I also lost my vestibular balance, the ear balance. Yeah. So I'm going totally senseless. My sense of humor, sharper than ever. But at the time, I wasn't very humorous. I wasn't very fun to be around. But I was sitting there in my breakfast bars, feeling sorry for myself, thinking about the whole Hal Elrod and the 15-minute pity party, and I'm like, I gotta get back to work. I've done this before, and it's like God has the same soldier's sardonic humor, right? And I've started speaking for years and talking about this triumph over tragedy and success through struggle, not despite it. Yeah. And here he is coming up and tapping me on the shoulder and says, "Oh yeah, do it again. Put your money where the mouth is." The only thing I could do was, try to get physically fit again, fight back this loss of balance. And I took the trekking poles that I was taking into the mountains, and I would use that to do like this weird crab walk thing, daddy long legs thing, out to my mailbox and back. And then I got in the treadmill again, and I would just hit the quick start, like 5 miles an hour, or half a mile an hour. That's what I meant. Yeah. The first increment. Yeah. And I would hold on for dear life. And then I would just hit the speed up button once or twice, beep, beep. And then I would walk a little bit faster. And within a year, I was running my first marathon back, after the hearing loss. But in that time also, I decided I would take my focus off of me and, redirect it outward. If Thanksgiving was coming, it was right around the corner. And I'll tell you what, I love Thanksgiving. Like I mentioned, right before losing my sight, we celebrated Thanksgiving all together. And now I've lost my hearing, and Thanksgiving was coming, and I was going to throw this huge feast. And I started cooking, desserts and, weeks in advance. And I started making all this fudge. And it was culinary, it was kitchen therapy. Yeah. And it was necessary for me, but it was something I could do to put smiles on other people's faces. If I could do that for them, then I could maybe, put a smile on my face. And it kind of snowballed. I made way too much fudge, even for the feast I was throwing. And Michaela started, I say, sneaking it out the front door. You don't have to be real stealthy around a blind deaf guy. She started giving it away, and then people started coming back and saying, "We'd like to buy more of this from you. Can we do that? We've got a birthday party or a baby shower or something." Capitalist in me said, "Well, of course you may." So we started this fudge company. But I'm passionate about food, and I love and I'm an endurance runner. I do these 100-milers. Just last year, I became the first blind and deaf person to complete the Badwater 135.
Nice.
And that means I burn a lot of calories. I love eating my own confections, but it's one of those you know, chicken, it's like the chicken versus the egg thing.
Yeah.
Do we eat the calories because I like to run, or do I run because I eat the calories?
Yes.
But that, this business that we created, it afforded us to chase our other passions.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing was that I was now by this time, medically retired from the military, but my major source of income, my only source of income, was this disability check, and I have a healthy distrust for our government, very strong distrust for Congress, right? And they love playing with service members and veterans benefits, when it comes to budget lines.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not want to be beholden to. I don't want them to decide my income. I wanted me to decide my income. So we started this business, and it was I don't know who said it. It was like your money makes money. So we wanted to buy assets, and then the money that money makes money. Yeah. So we would buy these assets, and these assets would buy assets. We got into real estate. We started investing in Ohio and North Carolina, and Tennessee, and here in Florida where we live. My wife became a real estate agent, and we have long-term and short-term rentals. We do the hospitality thing and Airbnb, and we fix up these unloved homes, give them some love. And one of the best parts about it is it's when you feed value into a system, and everybody wins. And that's what we're looking to do. We solve some problems. We make it so we're putting value into these communities, and everybody wins. People who are selling the property, people who buy them, the contractors, the neighbors, everybody wins.
For sure. So, and I love that the beginning of your entrepreneurial time was just a fix for a problem that you were experiencing, right? You needed that therapy, that time in the kitchen, just kind of working through, and you rewound your time and went back to being a Navy cook for the Admiral, and just started cooking in the kitchen, and enjoying that. That turns into a business that then turns into multiple assets across multiple states, doing multiple different businesses. And I absolutely love that as a real estate guy myself. So I don't know how much we talked about it before, but I run an education company called Active Duty Passive Income that teaches military members and veterans how to invest in real estate, because I know the power of real estate and what it can do for you, because I too have a very healthy distrust of the government after many years of government service, and I want to share with as many military members, veterans, and their families how they can, not do what I did for the first 30 plus years of my life and just rely on that paycheck every 2 weeks to get you by, but to create a future for yourself that is well beyond what your VA disability or military retirement is going to give you. So as you've been building these assets and you're starting this business, what have you been sharing with your kids about it? I know before we started recording, you had mentioned that, and I haven't heard the recording of your kids answering the questions yet, but I do look forward to hearing it. What have you been talking to your kids about when it comes to business and investing? Because obviously you learned a lot, and I'm curious where you decided to how you dug into learning about investing and whatnot, but how do you talk to your kids about the business side and the investing side?
Well, the twins, being 5, I'm still trying to get them to understand what the different types of coins are. Yeah. And by the time they understand, they'll probably be useless anyways. But I talk to them about the value of things, the difference between price and value. And, right now is just what different things cost. This is equal to 5 of these quarters here. And that just teaching them about money at this point. My son, who just became a teenager, it's the difference between value and price, and also the value of a dollar earned versus a dollar given. Yeah. And then, the value of things that you've purchased with something that, the money that you've created for yourself versus something that's just been handed to you. Yeah. And that's a tough thing nowadays because, for my kids right now, I've got to create challenge for them. They don't really have challenge.